power today, but
Kind of nice cooking by candlelight and
yeah.
hanging out with no
I know,
TV,
I
no
like
news.
that.
I'm
I
like,
love
yes.
that.
Lose it at all?
No young kids at home.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Fireplace
us
is
too. I think
nice.
we lost it
Heats
for
our
like a
whole
half
house.
hour, maybe, on Sunday, early
In a pellet
Monday
stove in 10
morning.
days.
Right.
And then
Nice.
So
came
excited.
back.
My
I
sister
woke up
loves her
and it was on.
pellet stove.
Yeah.
Do they still run with
I
the
was pretty
fan though?
excited,
That's, we got rid of ours because
It's the
it didn't run
Hey,
when you
we're-
lost your
My
electricity.
sister?
We're live, guys. We're live.
Oh,
It's fine.
sorry.
It's actually not a big
Is it
deal.
6? Oh, here we go.
It's after 6.
Okay.
Internet
Right.
bit.
Let's do it.
Get going.
Video away, 'cause I won't-
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We're gonna open the meeting up, Deerfield Parks and Rec for November 1st. First item on the agenda is October meeting minutes.
Motion to move the minutes as written. Anyone want to see them?
Second.
Any comments or corrections?
Not that I could see. Katie does an excellent job as always.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. Citizens' comments? Okay. Parks and Rec Director update. We have a new director, and I guess we can announce it, Nick. Congratulations.
It's time. Congratulations.
Official, it's official, I know, I've been fighting my
It's official, finally.
Thank you.
It was a hard process.
It was.
Over 30 applicants and then interviewing the top 3 and, yeah, I've learned a lot. Say that, yeah.
You did.
Yes, I did.
Whether you want to
It
do
was-
it again or not, but
Well, I'm not sure.
Not
I
anytime
hope
soon.
not, because
Let's hope not.
if Nick does a really good job, we won't have to do this again.
well, we will be looking for an assistant director too, so we may end up
Yes.
going through it again.
Well, I think Nick and Deb can do that. That's a different
We're
level.
Second that.
Were any of the candidates interested in, could we get a sense of any candidates were interested in being an assistant?
We're gonna go through the list of candidates and see if any of them are.
There's some really good candidates even for assistants. so,
Yeah, okay.
So we'll see how that
Yep.
goes.
Cool.
But yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
That goes on to our commissioning. We have an opening too, because Ken gave his resignation. I know there's one very interested party that is a former member of the commission, and I think, I don't know if we should just say the name, so we'll
I
wait
think we
to
should
see.
say the name and vote on it and bring it to the Board of Selectmen next Monday.
All right, so the name is Dwight Barnes. He's shown very much an interest, a lot of history in Parks and Rec, and I think he would be a good fit to fill out the term that Ken has left, I believe, till it's the
2019?
19, yeah,
Yep.
that's what I looked at.
April 2019.
So unless anybody else has someone else they'd like to suggest, I would take a motion to nominate Dwight to fill in the remaining time of Ken's commission.
I move to recommend Dwight Barnes to fill the vacancy by Ken Heckman and recommend to the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Second.
There we go. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Good. All right, so I'll get a hold of Dwight and have him go in and see Kevin and do what he needs to do with that. Hartford Brook update.
Well.
Ernie.
Hot seat.
Yeah, I might as well start, I guess. I just left the field and talked with Jack Hutchinson, who's, as we know, is kind of the de facto project manager. At any rate, I've got pictures. We've been building dugouts feverishly, and they are coming together. I'll pass these around because they're always much more of a, there's 3 there if you want to just swipe around. And that's going well. He's acquired the parts and, you know, we've worked through the issues regarding requirements of the town too. But it turns out we're getting it from Jackson Lumber. We have a town's account there, so it's convenient all the way around. Those should be finished up relatively soon. I'd say a couple of weeks, the way we're going. It's really getting down to benches and siding and roofing. But big picture beyond that, the fence is in the contractor schedule to be installed in approximately 3 weeks. I don't have an exact date, but I don't know if you have one.
That's what he's aiming for, yeah.
Okay.
That's the last I heard.
And just big picture, it's, once the fence goes in, we can look to put the base or the pad for the dugout buildings, which will be exactly like this. I guess, talking with Jack, he's thinking a precast might be a way to go, an alternative as opposed to a pour. And I guess we can get the details from him. That was kind of something he just threw out there. But the point is, the way that those should be done, hopefully before the winter. The idea being, that's the last bit of heavy equipment after the fencing gets installed that'll disrupt the field. So you don't want to start the field prep until that's out of the way, okay? And that certainly seems doable. I know Jack Cummings is gonna do some mowing, and actually, is soccer done?
Soccer is done. It
Soccer's
was
done.
done as of this past weekend.
Yep.
If we could make an effort to clear the field of, flags and anything that's not staying put, make it easier for everybody, the fence people, for Jack.
Mhm.
The only thing in question, more than likely, the Harley raking, which is basically field prep, will follow that, and the guy named Dave Drapo has done that, and he said would not be a problem. He could handle it with the fencing being up. I know before, we made a point to do that first, but he doesn't think it's gonna be a problem, so. But that seems to be like, that'll be first thing in the spring.
One thing on the fencing, a couple people have come forward and asked about a soccer field down there and a full-size field, and we've told them they can't, you can't get a
Yeah,
full-size
we've been
field
through
there.
that, yeah.
So they were saying, can you kick the fence out 10 feet more to get more soccer? But I think we want to make sure we have room where people can walk around the outside of the fence rather than having to go through the fence, so.
Yeah, then it's all wetland too, so no,
Right.
yeah.
So we'll get what we can for soccer fields out of the space we have. That's
Yeah.
kind of how we've left it, I
We
think.
don't, we
so.
don't have that scale drawing. Remember we were messing around with, do we have that? I mean, it might be a good graphic, take a picture. Here's, a true
Right.
pitch and place it on and see how it just, not gonna make it.
Right. Yeah, we did have, I don't know where that plan
I don't
is.
know.
I think Jack has that, because he had that big,
I'll ask
right,
about
I'm
this.
Yeah.
pretty sure he had that.
I think that's pretty much it from Hartford Brook.
Looks good.
It's very good.
Yeah, things are
Thank,
going
yeah,
along.
the dugouts look great too. I
Thank
stopped
you.
by.
It's
the other
awesome.
day.
Yeah, he is, one for detail. I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time over there with him, and, yeah, he really thinks things out.
Yeah, that's
And-
great.
And just for any other questions, I think I mentioned this before, it is of his design, but he did it in concert with Rick Pelletier. In other words, any kind of code specifications. So it's not, it should be up to snuff in that sense.
Great.
It had some scrutiny, so.
And we still have work inside the concession to do, right? That's still all that.
Correct.
Yeah, actually, the concession room right now is it's a shop area.
Storage, yeah.
But yeah, it's, yes, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, there's cupboards and counters and whatnot.
right.
Mhm.
Well, there is some other things, actually. I know the alarm system was installed, but it's not active, and I don't know if there were any heating concerns about that. I was talking to, I believe it was Paul Aslin who installed it, and I got the impression there was a concern about
He did
wintering
mention,
over.
he did mention wanting to insulate the area where it is.
Yeah, we did speak to some contingency thing, but it would mean getting some sheet rock up and, small strip of electric heating.
For the panel itself.
Yeah, he has a small panel. It's, if you're familiar with the layout of the building, it's sort of like it's framed now, but it's like a little utility room where the hot water tank is basically.
Right.
Of course, that's not filled, or that's not even powered up, so that's not a freeze concern. Yeah, it's relatively small. I mean, it would take a little bit of effort, but, I mean, you wouldn't want to leave it open because a small heater probably wouldn't meet what needs to be, or to keep it, usually electronics, you don't like to get too cold.
Right, you're just talking security, not fire, right? There's no devices in there for fire, I don't think.
I honestly don't know.
Not at this time, they're gonna believe. Not that
As far
I'm
as
aware
you
of,
know,
not
yeah.
that I'm aware of,
I mean, there's smoke alarms, but I don't think they're tied in.
right.
The problem is the smoke alarms and fire alarms is the temperature affects them. So if it gets too cold, they'll,
That's a good point, actually, yeah. Well, that's the whole building. Then. Of course, we could,
I don't
they
even,
made it through one
One
winter.
winner.
and there was also a question, that old mower that was down there, did that ever get removed?
No, it's still there. I noticed that this evening, and I don't know, has that seen any action, Nick, or?
The one near the back shed, no.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Will have to be dragged out of
We're
there.
gonna have to get that out of there, for sure.
I don't know if the, place in Raymond would want it for parts, or.
Oh, it's been that long, it's,
I don't-
DOA.
I don't think-
That was the old one, and then Jack donated the new
Lost
one
it,
that's
Joe.
inside, yeah.
Yeah,
oh, right, okay.
Give them a call and see if they wanna take it.
Mm.
yeah, it'd be good.
What do we do with the defib, when the season's, well, the season's over now for soccer, what do we do with that? Does it still
That's
stay
a
on the
good-
outside
yeah.
of the building, or?
Point.
What?
The
The AFD?
defibrillator?
Yeah, yeah,
Defib,
Oh, the AED?
yeah,
Yeah, we have to take that out, and we'll do the same thing at Bicentennial, of course, too.
right.
'Cause that's,
Where do those get stored?
we'll probably keep them here at the building.
Yeah, 'cause that's cold sensitive too, probably.
yeah, no, I think you're right.
Mhm.
So I guess the short list, Nick, is clear the field and remove AEDs.
Yep.
And, I'll get up a list, a parts list to close off the room, the utility room, or make the utility room.
I think last meeting too, we talked about putting together a list of items to be finished with the grant money and the,
Okay, for the big picture?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
try to put some numbers and priorities to them too.
Okay.
did you ever put the freezer in there? That you donated, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I was asking Jeff if the freezer was in there.
There is,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Okay, good, thank you.
Excellent.
All right, the next monster, tailgate trick or treat.
Monster. Haha,
In more ways than one.
I know, I know.
I did take some pictures, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, well, I've heard about it.
I'll get it to you. Figure out how to post it. So who wants to start?
I can start with it. So I think approximately we had 350 cars, which was good considering the circumstances for the turnout.
Mm-hmm.
With the weather and everything, we were worried about it and contemplating canceling. So 350 cars, I think, is a great number. I think pretty publicly, people were upset about the gate being closed early, which I think there may have been a miscommunication with that, because we did advertise it as 1 PM, and we closed it a little early. Not exactly sure exactly what the cutoff was for that.
It was only a
if
few
anybody-
minutes.
Yeah,
It was only a few minutes.
I think I looked at my watch at like 3:55, and there was no one else coming in, and there were people turning around, so
Right.
I'd say probably 5 minutes.
So a few minutes of.
I-
So people were upset about that, but
Yeah.
again, we were looking to get the event started right at 1 too, so it would make sense to cut it off a little before 1, I think,
Yeah,
in the
at one
future.
point, we said 12:45, the gate was gonna close, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think the parade had started lining up too. I think
Right.
visually, that's what they saw at the gate, and. that-
Right, and that would be a good time to shut it down, so I think next time we just gotta be clear with that. Any other feedback about the event itself? I have some questions here too, once we.
yeah, I think we need to figure out a way to limit it to Deerfield residents.
Right. Something I put on here as well.
Somehow, somebody mentioned getting pumpkin stickers or something you purchase at, with Parks and Rec somehow, or,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be hard to manage the gate with that too, but I'm pretty confident that half those people there were from out of town.
Easily.
Mm.
Really?
I think town stickers,
Easily.
if you don't have a dump town sticker, you can't get in.
Yeah, I think
Some
you,
people
think you need a
do.
pass though, because some people don't use their dump car
Right.
to come
Yeah.
to that. But I also think, like you said, residents only, but I think we need to do town workers or someone like Joanna works at Yanni's. I mean, for her to Like I think I mentioned to you how she said it's the only place she lets her kid go, and she works in here, and Yanni's gives a lot to the
Teachers.
community.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers at
yeah.
the school.
Yeah.
So anybody who works
That's a good point.
in the community.
Be an
or
employee of the
Right,
town.
Employee of the
employee of
town.
town.
in the
Yeah.
community.
You know, and what would that mean? 5 people, maybe?
Yeah.
You know, you're not
Yeah.
gonna have most teachers bringing their kids here that live half hour away, but to know that they're included, I think sends a good message.
Yeah, well, that's fine, I just, somehow we have to try to limit it.
But I think we could set up some kind of pass, like, all right, so Joanna's not gonna have a dump sticker. You
Right.
could come to Parks and Rec, Nick can, okay, stamp some kind of pass we make up that can't be
Right.
easily duplicated, you
Right.
know.
Can't we do it through the pay account and have it a free event, but they have to come and get something, or have some sort of ticket print or something?
We could, I don't know if, you're talking about rec desk?
Yeah, the
Going
rec
through
desk,
there.
yeah. I don't know if you could have,
You know, we still get so many physical registrations with other things too. I don't
yeah, they'd
think
have to come
people
in.
are very acquainted with it yet. Most people are,
Right,
but I wouldn't hold it solely to that. So maybe to have them
Right.
physically come in and get a pass would be
right,
Right.
better.
yeah.
Some kind of
Something to look
recognition.
at.
Yeah,
I think Julie even mentioned just looking at their driver's license too,
We-
to see if they live in Deerfield.
Right.
Now, the
That would
problem
be
with,
sufficient too.
but you're gonna run into, at 1:45, you got 50 cars turning to come in. and
Right, it's
they're
gonna be
all
quick.
off the road. and-
Well, I think what we'd have to, probably another time or a committee that we could just work on the tailgate trick or treat, but we'd have to have a better setup and more volunteers for the line. You have a pass or the parking sticker, you come in one way, the other cars that don't go off, and so you have someone else there checking, all
Right.
right, show me your license, and
Big orange
But we'd have
pumpkin.
to like streamline it, but we need more volunteers, and I think we need to put that out to the community, like, we want to make this a better, more efficient event, but it just can't be those of us here that volunteer, and,
Right,
'cause all of us can't always make it.
right.
Somebody mentioned coming in off of Cotton Road, too.
Yeah, I mentioned that the one right up further
Up
from the
further
main
up the
engine.
hill,
You
yeah.
could come right down that way and start filling in that way, where we wouldn't get the backup.
The problem is if they get into the fairgrounds, it's gonna be hard to say, no, you can't
Right,
go any further. Where there, you've got the gate.
Yeah.
I think it was Amy that brought up the idea of you can come in the main road and we can have the trunk or treat on the left, and those that have passes can go that way. Those that do not can go out the another exit from the fairgrounds. This way it doesn't hold up traffic out on the roads. So you have a constant stream, and you have a couple people, at that fork saying, yes, you can go, no, you cannot go, you don't have a pass. So if they come in the same entrance,
Yeah,
come right down the main road, we had trunk or treat on the right. Instead, if we just keep on going straight down to the end, have trunk or treat on the left, and those that don't have passes file out to the right to Cotton Road.
Move the whole trick or treat down further
Correct.
in the fairgrounds.
And that'll alleviate any lines that we cause out on the main road.
That's an idea, yeah.
so you're stacking them up inside the
Oh, yeah.
fairgrounds, rather.
And it's safer. And then you might have to have an earlier gate closing time, because you'll have all those cars on a line inside.
yeah, they need
But
to
at
do
least
that.
they'll be away from the event itself, because they'll be off in the corner.
But you still get an issue of if they come in and they're not from Deerfield, then
Right.
you're gonna say, okay, we'll just go back out. You can't stay, or.
Yeah. And we could have a sign at at the gate saying, if you don't have a pass,
Right.
and we could advertise it on websites and such.
Residents only?
Yep, residents only. Unless we want to raise money and have people outside pay for passes, and then,
That's a whole other vein.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'd much rather just keep it to Deerfield residents.
I think that's the
agree,
intent,
yeah.
too. I mean, it started at the parking lot by the town hall.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a circle.
It was a circle.
Wasn't it originally for the younger kids?
Little,
too?
little
Little
kids,
kids, who,
right.
You know, you
Yes.
didn't want out, kind of chugging around
A dark
the road.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
But all the kids, I mean, my soccer kids, they were talking about going trick-or-treating at Strawberry Bank, going to Northwood, some of them went to Raymond, so all the other places are open to,
I saw on my way home, Candia, the school had their sign up, and they said 10:28 trunk or treat. So they had their own too. But
Right.
that was Saturday, ours was Sunday, so,
Right.
right,
you know.
the kids are going to different
Northwood
places.
was Saturday, too.
Right, yeah,
So
my
they're
kids
all
went
doing-
over to Northwood on Saturday.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to those organizations, I'm assuming it's also done by their Parks and Rec. I don't know, it's an assumption. And find out how they're doing it, and are they finding things getting out of control, or is it working well and everybody's feeling included, or?
I don't know, the Northwood one, I was assuming it was done by the school because one of the professionals was a parent on our soccer team. She was going to help the school with the trick or treat.
Okay.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
she was helping Parks and Rec or
Yep.
the school itself, or,
I think they also did a haunted walk or something too.
yeah.
I wonder if it's so busy here because it's at the fairgrounds. Everybody in New Hampshire knows where the fairgrounds are. Is there a way to maybe put it at the gazebo?
Well,
That's where it used to be.
We've outgrown
Yeah,
it.
It
it's big.
outgrew, it outgrew it, it got
Just
so
downtown.
dangerous.
Yeah.
People parked down the sides of the
Oh,
roads
yeah.
on Church Street, it was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was, that's why we moved it there.
Well, we don't have to decide stuff tonight. It's good to think about it and get it out there. And maybe if we can contact Northwood and, who else you say, Candia? You
Candia,
had
Candia
something?
had
there was a
some.
sign.
Raymond
Yeah,
has one,
Raymond
but
has
it's right
one,
at the
right?
shopping center, so I'm sure they're not kicking anybody out.
No, they're not, because it's part of the Hannaford's thing, yeah.
Yep.
In a parking lot
Yeah,
The
Hannaford.
Ben Franklin,
during
Yeah,
business
yeah,
hours?
yeah. Hannaford
Okay.
helps them and they go over there.
I don't know why we're concerned about safety then. That's private property.
Because we're concerned,
'Cause it's our-
commission.
That's our property.
I think it would be good, I don't know, I'm not sure when, but to put something out to the community that, one, we've heard some of the concerns about, we're gonna try to do a, you know, make sure it's a residents and/or town employees only. And, but kind of putting the heads up that we're probably gonna need more community support and help us with that. So just so, I don't know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be now, but maybe in a, you know, a few weeks, we can go, hey, the recap, and this is what we found, and your ideas, because, you know, some community members might have ideas, and
I heard from a lot of people leaving that were saying it should just be to town residents.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it should be shorter, too. I mean, even though it was
Yeah.
raining and people were leaving, but to 3
think it-
o'clock, I'm like, all right, I
That's
was.
What do we do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kitty's gone.
Even,
last
even in
year
good
it-
weather, even in
Yeah.
good weather, I think it kind
They're-
of petered out after an
They're
hour.
out, they're out of
An hour and a
candy,
half,
too.
2:30, yeah,
Yeah.
that was last year too.
And us having just a better plan of like, hey, you know, this, now shut the gate, we can have radio communication or phone communication,
Right.
you know, just kind of parade is starting, and announcing that to people, because
Right.
I think we probably didn't, do we have the megaphone? We
Yeah, it was just
Yeah, it wasn't very
Hard.
effective.
to reach all the way down.
Yeah.
we
That's
do-
so many
long
kids, it's
line.
hard, that's a long, it is
Yeah.
long.
We do have radios, though. I think that would be
That would be
beneficial.
very-
So,
We have
yeah,
the
'cause if-
after-school program radios that we can
Yeah.
bring for next year.
For
Yeah.
parking and everything. it
For the
would
parking,
be
yeah,
easy.
like, hey, send me more cars, or you,
Right.
more, you
Mhm.
know,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, because I wanted to yell to Brian, like, you
We
know,
did that last year
But-
with the radios,
yeah,
we had the vests.
coming up with a
and
parking plan that would be more
Yeah.
efficient.
Absolutely.
I wonder if doing a monkey survey or something like that and list,
everything. I was
you know,
thinking-
what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it.
Yeah,
Should it be just Deerfield residents? You know, maybe we can come up with a survey to send out.
I just
not
did
a
one
bad-
for soccer yesterday, so,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. Mhm.
I didn't see it.
You didn't? Really?
I'm not seeing anything, and that's a real big
Is it on
problem,
Facebook?
okay.
especially with my team
Email.
on Saturday.
Survey.
I didn't
Yeah.
get it either, but it might.
Is there a link
Sean
on
might
the
send
town
So,
website?
there were 125 families it sent to.
Did you
Sean
send it
might
to
have
the
got it.
families?
I'll double check
Families
it.
and coaches, or
Yeah.
just? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you think you could put a link to it up on the website?
I can.
Katie, did you see it?
A link to what, Amy?
To the survey?
The survey,
Oh,
yeah.
For
survey,
soccer,
yeah.
yeah.
Assuming our internet's
Right.
Yeah. I'd say it'd be good, there's a lot of chatter on Facebook about,
Yes.
most of it was negative, so
Yes.
it'd be good to really see if they mean it and what we can do to fix it.
Sure.
All right. We good with that for now? Well, that one will be on here for a while, I think.
Yep.
Figure out what we want to do. All right, next big one, coffee house.
I just, before the meeting, sent out 2 emails. One that has Leslie's little blurb about advertising, so if we can share it on our Facebook pages, send an email out to friends, neighbors, just promoting the event, that would be great. Also, I sent out the volunteer sign-up. I edited that and created a new one. So that link is for all of us to use to sign up for things. You can sign up for multiple things, like if you want to go crazy baking 5 different things, great, or if you just want to go buy apple cider and coffee, that's fine. But we can also share it with, you know, some of us know people who enjoy the coffee house and like to bake something or bring something. You can share it with, you know, friends too. So the big thing is Friday, the 17th, we'll need 2 to 3 people, at least 1 or 2 that know a little bit of strength. I mean, you know, obviously any of us here can do it, just lifting plywood to help set up the stage. Sometimes we get there and Leslie has it all set up, but setting up the tables and chairs and.
What time was that, you said?
It varies. She usually lets us know that day. It could be
Friday
2 to
before.
4, could be 3 to 5. I think I put that in the email.
Yeah.
I may be able to help with that if it's on the earlier side. And then on Saturday, 4 people, 2 for the kitchen, 2 for the table. We can do more, but, you know, 4 is what she allows us to have without having to pay. So we can do more or not pay, but then that's money that we're missing out because there's a limit on how many people you can have in the gazebo, but, I mean, in the town hall. So we'll just have to talk about that and see who can do that. I'm just not going to be around that weekend, so, which I feel bad about, but we
It's okay.
just kind of,
You organized her so well last year that,
yeah. Yeah,
No, that volunteer sign-up thing is very effective.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
helpful.
great.
And
Very good.
And it's a little bit more than what we need, so if some spots don't get filled, but at least we have an idea, that way if something falls through, but, yeah, so I'll communicate more, but as that fills up, and then I'll resend it out, you know, and say, hey.
is Deb gonna do the coffee?
I'll check with Leslie on that, usually Deb does,
Beer
but,
does coffee.
yeah. And, I think that's pretty much it for that.
You said you sent out a link for the sign-up?
I have the sign up, but I don't have the soccer stuff.
Yeah, the second email I sent
I got
was,
it, yeah.
you see the link?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay. So we'll hear more on what time Friday they want to set up.
Yeah, probably that week, like Wednesday or something, she'll say, hey, everybody's gonna, you know, they're there rehearsing, so we just, you know, and they're getting ready to set up and rehearse, so usually like 2 to 4, or 3 to 5.
Yeah, it's before I
That'll
get
be
it.
the 17th, right?
Yeah, even if we got a couple like 8th graders, or someone wants, you know, a couple of kids, I don't know how, you know, how many kids you have here, how old they are, Nick, but even if a couple Parks and Rec kids want to come over and, you know, some of it's just putting flowers in vases and putting
Yeah,
candles
putting
on
the
the
tables
tables.
up,
Right.
right, and the
It's just-
tablecloths and stuff,
yeah.
yeah.
Which-
Right.
Excellent.
Thank you, Julie.
No problem.
All right, soccer season review.
So as I just mentioned, sent out the questionnaire yesterday. I'll have to look and make sure that got to everybody. But yeah, we just put, I should have probably brought an example of the questions on it, but there were 7 questions on that survey. Just kind of getting an idea of, you know, and it was geared toward the coaches and the parents, just to get their feelings and thoughts on the season and what could be done better, what we've done in the past and versus what we've done in the past. So that's out there. Hopefully, you know, it's a relatively easy survey to submit and get back. So hopefully you hear from some people on that. I know we've talked about paid officials. That was one of the big concerns. Alan was here last meeting and talked about that. So I did reach out to Seacoast, and they are more than willing to facilitate a referees training. So we're going to look to do that before the next season so that we can get some people in there. That was one of the questions on the survey as well. If we provide that type of training, would you be interested in lending a hand at some games, whether it's paid or volunteer, either way.
Yeah.
So that's out there as well. We held the end of season celebration last weekend. We did pizza and certificates. Generally, I think it was appreciated, but there were some teams that went out and bought balls because we've done that in the past and we didn't do it this year. Just a different, it's an expensive thing to go and buy balls for 150 plus kids. So decided to go away from that this year. But again, the feedback's out there and we'll see what they have to say.
Didn't someone donate them one year? I thought there was someone, company, or
Yes, we
person in
did.
town that donated a bunch.
I think, was it, I wanted to say it was Walmart, but maybe not. I can't remember.
I thought it was a guy who owned a business out towards
Oh.
like Fremont,
Oh, okay.
somewhere out there, but anyway. But,
Other than that, the season went smooth. That was pretty much in place before Joe left, so no huge concerns. It's been run pretty much the same way it's been run in the past, so we'll see what the feedback says and go from there.
I only have one feedback, of canceling games 1 hour before they start.
Yeah.
That's painful.
It
Like,
was-
if Friday was canceled and it was really wet, then Saturday morning, if we had like 4 inches of standing rain, water on the field, and a 9:09, the message went out, I didn't get my message till like 9:45. By that time, my whole team's en route to the field. So we just hung out in the parking lot, and I gave everybody popsicles, and we had a bunch of candy and treat bags, and handed out certificates and kicked rocks around, and but it was just, a little bit more time to cancel a game would be, really helpful. I know some people see stuff on social media and they're all savvy with their phones and everything, but I just didn't even have time to even tell my team, because I didn't see it till, I was already dressed and already down there, because the kids got to get there 20 minutes before to practice, so.
Sure.
Warm up. But,
Held on to some optimism there since, I
yeah,
think,
I know, it was
the whole
last
week,
weekend,
the whole
right.
week was rained out, so
Right.
it was tough to,
I know.
just call it on Friday.
Right, and I had one kid crying. She said, "What do you mean it's kids?
Mhm.
This is our last game." And I'm like, "Oh, Annabelle, don't cry."
Right.
And I also heard, I don't know if it was which league, if it was 3-4 or 5-6, but the other teams, I think it was Nottingham and Barrington maybe, weren't notified, and both teams showed up here
Mhm.
and still played
Oh.
a game on our field, just the 2 of them.
It must have been
They were on the
Hartford,
email
Brook.
chain, they just probably didn't get it in time.
Right, and get in time, and they were all en route, probably.
Yeah, so those 2 teams both showed up, and they were like, "Where's Deerfield?" And no one showed up, so they decided, "Oh, we'll just
We'll play here.
play a game."
Right.
Yeah, so the field was still utilized, and it was like, "Oh, no." But
Yeah, so in the future, we'll try, if we can make a decision sooner than later, we'll do that. And, maybe a text or a phone calls would probably be more efficient,
Yeah.
if we do have to do it on short notice, for sure.
Yeah.
is there like a, how the school does is it called one call for like school
One deal
closings? Is there anything we can do like that? Like get all of our coaches and parents and just send out one mass text message?
Certainly look into it, sure what our options are. I know there's nothing in place with the rec department now, but we can definitely
I think
look
that's
at
the
it.
phone service that the school has.
Phone
Yeah.
tree or whatever they have.
I don't think
automatic
the
system.
service is
Yeah.
here on the system, the phone system here.
Oh, it's not.
I don't think so. I think it's something that the school's system has, that they can send out that information. I
Is that-
think, I'm not sure, so we can check into it, but weather calls are the hardest. You can't win.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, is that good for soccer?
That's all I have.
So the other thing on soccer is the concession building. That's something Alan talked about too, is how to run that and who should run that. So that's something to kind of think about how we would do that.
Right, so we know how the coaches feel about that. They feel like they have quite a bit of responsibility already.
Right.
So in the future, we try to staff the baseball season the same way. So if maybe, I don't know, it might be worth exploring with the school, see if they want to do it for a fundraiser. I know they jumped all over the tailgate trick or treat, so if they wanted more opportunities to step in there, that might be a place we could do it. But, it's tough to find the volunteer help to just step in like that.
Mhm.
And the rec department doesn't make anything on it. It's more of just a service to the teams that
Right.
go out and play. So it's, if we had to pay somebody to be there, that's something else too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned to you, Nick, but I had one parent come up to me in the parking lot last week with some ideas about soccer, and I think he may come to a meeting, so I'll let him speak for it, but he had some thoughts and ideas about soccer and getting different things in the concession, but I said, bring it to the board so that, everybody can hear. He has some good ideas, but
Sure.
figure,
Yeah, I mean, like Nick says, if it has to start paying for concessions, we'll probably shut it down.
Right.
'Cause
right.
we're not gonna spend money to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
right,
I
right,
mean,
Just- yeah.
it's always in the past has been run by parents, and
right.
That's how it
That's
should
what other
be run.
towns all do.
it should be,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But,
Can we put that in with the registration? Like, each team has to have, like, a parent responsible for that game, not a whole day, just a parent or an older sibling, or
Yeah.
older daughter.
we used to
or
do that
son.
with softball. I mean, you had to have, you
Right.
know, so many hours doing this and that, and then
Yeah.
sort of,
The problem that Alan brought up is that parents don't wanna do it.
they don't. I couldn't even get a parent to coach our team. I couldn't even get a parent to help us.
Which is bizarre
Yeah.
to me, because all growing up, that's what our parents did for our
Right.
games. There was one mom or dad that was always in the concession stand.
That's right. Looking
Right.
out the window at the kids.
Yeah.
But it's built there so you can watch a game too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like you're up here and you
Yeah.
can't see
Right.
what's going
And
on.
it's not that busy.
No,
It's not.
So they're not there like the whole time. Like, I grew up in Manchester, and there were parents constantly, like, it was a busy
Hmm.
snack shack, but Deerfield,
No.
We may have a good argument, especially if we're working on the referees. If we alleviate that issue and the teams from having to find referees, then maybe they'd be more apt to help run out the concession stand. And if we put that on the registration forms, I don't think they would argue too much.
yeah.
You know, we can make the point that, hey, we heard you, here we are doing something about the refereeing, but we really need your help with the concession stand.
Either, you know, you can put it that way and say either the parents run it or we'll shut it down.
Yep.
yeah.
Or get volunteers. You know, you get the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the Girl
school.
Scouts, the school,
Sure.
the 8th grade class, the
Try
5th
that,
grade
but
class, they're
still
going
should
to
be-
college. Right,
Parents should be able
right,
to do
it
it.
should.
They
but-
should be involved. I remember I did the snack shack many times a couple years ago, and there was a lot of games I just sat out there like this
Yep,
and watched
that's
the
right.
game. I
Watch
mean,
the
someone
game.
came, oh yeah, you want some
And in-
Skittles here?
In
Yeah.
between the
Every
games.
couple minutes, yeah.
Right.
Right, you may get them crossing
Right.
between games,
Right.
so. But that's something that, you know, we'll keep on the radar too, and how to, because you'll have that with baseball too. I mean,
Absolutely.
anytime you have
Yeah.
concessions, it's,
Mhm.
As it is now, the coaches appoint them for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Most of they have a teen mom or
Right.
whatever they do. Other towns make it mandatory,
yep,
Mhm.
you know,
they do.
so
We had to.
you forfeit if you don't play, or if you don't have somebody in the concession stand, so.
Yeah. You'd hate to get to that point.
No, yeah, you don't wanna force them, you know.
But the other, before you'd get there, I'd shut it down.
Right.
You know, if you're not interested enough to volunteer to work in it for an hour,
Right.
then we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah, I'd hate to take away from the kids, to forfeit a game.
Right, I
Right.
wouldn't,
It's for
Right,
them.
oh, yeah.
because that's who gets hurt, not the
Right.
parents who won't do it.
Yep.
So. Okay, well, I think we're all,
Only last thing on soccer, thanks to Sean Bosley, talking about refereeing. He spent many a Saturday, I believe. I saw him last Saturday
Mm-hmm,
doing games, so,
was it,
yeah,
yeah, this, I don't know if everyone knew that, but
yeah.
Yeah, he stepped in for the 5th and 6th grade games last Saturday, so that was appreciated for sure.
Yeah, he's great.
and maybe getting the word out too, that, you know, like somebody, I think Alan mentioned high school kids or,
Right,
you know, that aren't playing, or Saturday mornings they're off, they could come down and
8th graders.
do it, or
I checked
community
with
service.
Candia.
Mhm.
I did
Oh,
check
yeah,
with Candia. They get their refs from the New Hampshire Soccer Association, so they're all
That's a travel
kids.
team, right?
Yeah, but some of their kids are, he said, if we're willing to, they do get paid. I don't know if it's like $15 a game or something, but that's something we could reach out to the New Hampshire Soccer Association and see if they would be willing to provide. They have 3 refs each game. We only really need one, I would say,
One.
just one
In the middle,
in the middle.
volleyball.
And they said that, I don't see why it would be a huge issue. They come fully dressed there, you know it's a referee.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Right, but it's also NHI, or New Hampshire
FIFA.
Soccer sponsored event. I mean, they're part of that league, where ours is more of just a
Oh,
rec
okay.
league.
Directly, right.
I think, I'm pretty sure that's,
you might be right. Yeah.
it's more of a travel league that's New Hampshire
Well,
Soccer
Barrington had,
Association.
yeah, Barrington had refs,
Yeah,
the games we played, yeah.
Actually, yeah, they did.
They did, yeah,
Yep.
they had paid refs.
there we go.
He had a freshman, yeah, he was 14.
Well, maybe if you throw it out there as,
Nottingham did too.
yeah,
Yeah, the
Well,
parent I
like-
was talking to, he
Barrington,
said
Nottingham,
Auburn has refs and they pay the kids like $10 a game.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
they're-
they'll even be able to give us a list of who's not working that Saturday. Here's a few families that aren't, they might want to do it
Right.
on the side. quote unquote.
Well, maybe we can find out from Nottingham or Candia or whoever, how do they get into that? How does Nottingham, how does the town get into that list? So the kids could say, oh geez, I'll go to Deerfield today, or,
Yeah, okay.
you know, something like that. Maybe
Yeah,
there's
I
a
can look
list
into
out
that.
there that you put the town in the games and they pick them out and see what they wanna do.
Okay, yeah. can look into
Didn't
that.
we talk about trying to get something here in town, though, so we can get some of our own kids maybe
Yeah,
certified?
Nick
So
mentioned
he's
it.
gonna
Training.
do that,
Okay.
training,
All right.
yeah.
And maybe some parents are just afraid, and if they get some training, they'd be willing to give it a shot, so.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could be a barrier.
I'd be up for going to the training, and I can probably get a few parents, at least a handful of parents, to go with me for that.
Be huge.
It's not like, I mean, it can be fun too, you know,
Yep.
you can have a
It
good
is
time.
fun.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, even going to the training and stuff, the Seacoast does a good job at
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
doing it, so.
Mhm.
All right, we good with soccer?
Good with soccer.
Move on to basketball.
So registration deadline is November 10th. Slow going right now, as expected with soccer just ending. So they'll probably get a 3/4 of the total roster rush here in the next week and a half is what I'm guessing. So we have 20 kids signed up so far across all levels, which is very light. So like I said, we're anticipating a rush here coming up. We've already had a meeting with the Southeast League, which is who we deal with our basketball, just to kind of get a preliminary assessment of scheduling, what they're looking at for teams, how many teams we're going to have total, the age divisions and groups and such. So we've touched on that, and then we're going to meet again shortly after everyone gets their final numbers in probably the second week of November. So currently actively looking for coaches, hopefully going to pull in a bunch and get them to return from last year. I've already had a bunch of inquiries, so I'm not concerned with the interest in that. Joe left behind a huge pool of referees too, so I don't foresee an issue with that either. And I've touched base with many of them already. Talked to Cindy Hansen also about the usage for the gym. As always, we have second priority after the school games and things like that, so that'll stay consistent this year. Set to start, Jamborees will be the first 2 Saturdays in December, which are the 2nd and the 9th, so everything should be well in place by then. And tentative Hoop Classic date, looking at March 24th through the 11th, if we have the same kind of numbers that we had last year or more. Last year, Joe ran an 18-day tournament, so that's what we're looking at. So that's the date range I picked so far.
Is it later than last year?
What's that?
Was that later than last year?
I think it was a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
later.
later.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I think he started
Started.
the middle of March and maybe just barely went into April.
Yeah,
Something like
I
that.
think so. I was thinking it was like the 18th that they started, because it was mostly March Madness. Most of it was in March.
March 18th? Yeah,
I think it was March 18th
okay.
that I worked that day.
It was somewhere, I know I wasn't too far off with I think I was a week and a half behind on the start. But yeah, I'll get that date to Cindy too, because she wants to know that as soon as possible.
Yeah, it was March 17th. I worked that night.
Okay, so it was pretty much a
Yeah.
week later then.
Yep, exactly a week later. Yeah, pretty much.
But, yeah, we're really at a standstill until we have registration closed, and, we're gonna look to meet with coaches and get everything organized shortly after that. And it'll be a couple of weeks where we kinda rushing around to get things going, but Jamborees will start pretty much right off the bat in December, and looking forward to a good season.
Good. All right,
There's no Easter weekend. When is Easter weekend for
That's what I was
April?
just looking at. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
Easter's
kind of worried
like-
about that date.
Easter's,
What's
I think
Easter?
the end of March. It's at the end of March, because I think that's when Annie's break is.
the 27th last year of
In
March.
Yeah, I think it,
Yeah, it went through Easter weekend
Yeah,
last
that
year, right?
was- it was
Yeah,
off-
because
that
we
was
had
the
a
off
big
weekend.
snowstorm too, and
Yeah.
that canceled the
Yeah.
games on April 1st.
Easter's April 16th. It's late this year.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that's good,
it
then
is?
it's after,
Is that
when
right?
Nick's
Oh,
dates
okay.
then, that's good.
That's what this shows.
Well, I don't have,
Easter Sunday
I
was.
have it as the
April s-
first.
Yeah.
April 16th was this year, Jeff. Talking next year.
17,
When did we were in, this is gonna be the 18th.
18.
Yeah.
right.
So, it's when?
April 1st is what I
First.
have it as.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right. April 1st, 18.
yeah.
So that would
April
be,
Fool's Day is Easter.
On April Fool's Day.
yeah.
Great.
Well, that'll be, I mean,
Yeah.
last year you just took Easter off. You didn't do
Right, just,
anything on
yeah, you
Sunday.
don't play through it, yeah.
Did you wanna do it a week earlier and keep it on the same schedule as last time? Are you gonna lose teams, or is that gonna mess people up? Cause it's been,
What will that-
what will that do? I just don't know what other basketball teams are doing at that time, or there's different tournaments going on that they go to.
I know it seems like things run later and later each year, so, but I can definitely check that. It's
Yeah.
by no stretch is it concrete yet, so
Right,
I'll-
so, like the York tournaments and all those things that we used to go to, I don't know what dates
Right.
those are, and,
I think one of the things, was it Oyster River? They run a tournament March 10th, so that wouldn't be a problem. But if there's anything the prior week, I can check into with the other teams and see if they know of anything else in the area,
right.
just to make sure.
We
Yeah,
just
we
hit-
could move it ahead 1 week for sure.
We just hate to lose our registration of all the teams, cause,
Absolutely.
yeah, you wanna get the
Right, if it would
maximum.
interfere into something else.
Yeah,
Well, the other issue would be is if you move it up a week, that means it ends 3 days after Easter, so that, does that affect not having games the weekend before? You know what I mean? Because Easter Sunday, you won't have anything, so
right,
I guess it depends how the tournament lays out. If you can skip that Sunday
Right.
and have championship games that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or go a few more days too. I guess you can go past Wednesday.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we can look at it and see.
haven't we in the past have teams were on a waiting list because they wanted to get in our tournament?
Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's picked a cap number each year. Last year, I believe it was 43 teams total,
Mhm.
which is huge.
Right, oh, yeah, yeah,
It's huge.
Yeah, making those brackets and stuff, or
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, there's all different divisions, it's a lot of
double elimination
different stuff.
right,
Yeah,
Um,
losers brackets, winners brackets.
yeah.
Right, yeah, the double elimination, so every team plays at least 2 games. Um,
And the other thing to think about too with that whole basketball tournament is I really think Deerfield teams need to have parents volunteer to work the door.
And they have, though.
Yeah,
They
we
have
did
in the
last year.
past. I met a lot of people last year from
Yep.
working the game. I mean, I
Well,
did
because I
one,
thought-
I did once with you, but,
Yeah, I know
What Joe
Joe's-
did for us last year, because I coached the 3-4 girls, if our parents committed to helping out, our team didn't have to pay the team fee. So it's
Right.
like, if your parents are willing to do it, don't have to worry about it.
Waive
If
the
not,
fee,
I think it
right.
was like, it would have been like $20 or $30 per player.
right, because it was like 150, yeah.
Right.
So, that, a lot of my girls' parents all, contributed either the door or, Tim Griffin was excellent with the scorebook. He was there 3 or 4 nights, 5 nights maybe, did the scorebook. I was there 4 or 5 nights doing the scorebook. My wife did the door. A lot of parents helped out with
Oh,
that,
good.
so.
Mhm. And the 8th grade's still gonna do the food?
Concessions.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not a problem then. Good. All right, you want to move on? On schedule. Upcoming events,
Good.
Veterans Day, Santa, and Holiday Light Contest.
So Veterans Day is obviously first. So we're set to go on Veterans Day, November 11th at the Town Hall, 11 a.m. Reached out to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. They are going to be a part of that, presenting the colors, doing the Pledge of Allegiance, singing, and so forth. It's, talking to Deb about the event, it's usually a pretty small, quick thing.
It's a Saturday, though, so there's more people around,
Right, so it
so it
could
might be more.
potential to be bigger,
Yeah.
for sure. We usually provide coffee, sheet cake, and then just kind of have a little presentation and just honor the vets. So that is the date range that we're setting for. I got a flyer here too. If you guys have any objections to sending that out, I'll get it posted probably tomorrow. So we can start getting the word out on that.
Do you have any vets speaking?
What's that?
Do you have any vets that are gonna be speaking? at the
I
event?
don't, but that was something that Deb mentioned too. We could reach out to somebody, or even at the Legion, try to get them involved as well. So I can definitely reach out for that. I think that'd be a good touch to it.
Yeah, because I think they've had Mr. Crummy and, you know, I think Jax did something with his mother before too or something, because wasn't she a nurse and yeah, I think they had different people that they were honoring. Just to have that personal touch. Don, yeah, there were several, yeah. I know Joe did it one year when he was here, but just Don.
Sit with Santa, this is slated for November 26th. That's a Sunday. Mr. and Mrs. Claus are already all lined up for 2 to 4 p.m. Immediately following that, we'll do the Fireman's Parade. So I'm touching with Mark Tibbetts on that one, so that all those pieces are moving. And
Those the same day? The Fireman's
yes.
Parade?
Yep. Yep. That's typically, I guess that goes right after the
Mhm.
Santa set.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. Hopefully going to get some donations for baked goods and things like that, but the rec department will provide something just to get us going for that. Thinking about putting like a Sign Up Genius or something just to get an idea of what we can get brought in and have an idea what we've got for food and stuff like that. Holiday lights, Mark also mentioned that, having something set up at the gazebo. I'm not sure how the contest is run in the past. I think you brought that up, Melissa.
Yeah, that was, people submitted that they were gonna decorate their houses, and then we had a van full of judges go around and look at
Okay.
those houses and judge on it, and,
Neat.
yeah.
Okay.
I
And
think
then there
people
was a
liked that a
prize,
lot last year.
and there was a
Yeah.
prize,
The
yeah.
categories?
Categories, yeah, we did categories, last
Alright.
2 years in a row.
The Sit with Santa, does he come in with the fire department, or is he there already?
He comes in on, John Dubianski's
The gainer.
four-wheeler, he usually does, but if we're getting a Mr. and Mrs., that's different than the one that passed away, so I don't know how they'll be coming in. Yeah, he did, yeah, oh, that's right, sorry. She didn't hear it, she glazed over.
Do you need help with any of these things? What's the idea?
Let's see, so the Vets Day thing, I think we're pretty well set on. Sit with Santa, we're going to decorate for that. Have pretty much everything set. We could probably use volunteers to man the food, if we can do that, if the rec commission wants to step up for that. But in general, I think they're, smaller events that are just held right at the town hall. So we should have enough hands on deck to handle that.
If you find you do, just send something out to
Absolutely.
everybody and see who's around.
For sure.
Is Santa gonna bring any toys? 'Cause the last Santa brought toys.
Really?
Yeah, he had a stash of Beanie Babies that he brought. I don't know where he got them, but he handed out Beanie Babies to all the kids.
From the workshop is where he got them.
Yeah, his workshop. Yeah, it's a special event, but I don't know what they provide, if they provide anything, or if you're just gonna sit in their laps and whisper stuff in their ears, but the last one, he was, I don't know, the workshop, the donated workshop. Yeah, wherever.
I will see what Santa has planned.
All right.
What's the date on that again?
26th, Sunday,
26th.
November 26th. Traditionally, I guess it's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Right.
Yep.
And you'll let us know if you need help on any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else on upcoming events?
Nothing immediate.
So do you want to do the holiday lighting contest and set a date, or?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think what the date was last year.
Yeah. That was gonna be my question.
Are the categories already set?
I don't have anything on the contest left behind, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure what you guys have done in the past, but
I can look at my notes. We've had like the most creative or the most classic
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
right, yeah, there were a handful of them, and then there were gifts. I mean, we had like,
Oh,
right,
Oh, that's right.
yeah. I think he had like gifts like popcorn and candy, like in towers that he was handing out, first, second, and third, or whatever. That was the first year.
No, we'll
I
try and
wanna
find out
say it
some-
was, the second weekend. Was it the second weekend, December, like December 11th or something like that last year?
That
So
they
it'd be
went
like the
around and
9th or
judged.
10th.
No.
Yeah.
That early?
Was it that early or was it later?
I thought it was later.
Was it later, the 18th then? Was it the third weekend? I don't have my other calendar. I can look in my notes at home.
and was that just the rec commission that drives around and judges?
Joe
or-
got some people
Joe,
from, different people from
Sure.
town
Yes,
offices and
Right.
Didn't he get some from Sherwood?
Yeah,
Sherburne
he
Woods,
had
yeah.
seniors, yeah.
Hmm.
They wanted to see the lights and they wanted to
Oh, that's cool.
judge,
Yeah.
so they went around in a van and,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, he drove them around, see the lights, and they all voted. I learned the hard way. I nominated my neighbor's house. And everybody thought it was my house, and I was like the winner, and I'm like, no, it's not my house. And Joe said, you're not supposed to nominate your neighbor's house. I said, I asked you, and you said it was okay. I said, "I don't think I did." I said, well, that's not my house. Oopsies. Had great lights, though. Good.
Okay. Just trying to find that sign for Joe's dedication. I don't know if I have
Oh, you sent it to me.
it. Did.
Did you send me, I can't remember how you sent it. Text it to me? I think I might have deleted it.
He is,
So the next item is Joe Manzi's dedication. We talked a little bit, I think we brought it up here.
Yes, we did.
Um,
Yeah.
And I have, and I can't find it.
This is what it sort of looks like with Joe Manzi's name on it.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get the
Same
idea.
person made it.
Same person's making it. I
Isn't
don't,
it connected to that, the one I did? I thought I just,
that was the picture that I took off my computer. You texted me and I deleted your text. I'm sorry.
was it a text?
Yeah, it was a
Text.
email. I'm pretty sure it was a text. You sent the
Nick,
picture.
got that from-
So it's gonna say,
To the right,
Joe
Oh, this here?
Manzi,
thank you.
the Joe Manzi
Here it
After
is.
School Clubhouse.
Yeah.
There you go, that's it. Yeah, I deleted it. I like this color.
many
You
cell
gonna
phones
do this color? We should go
They
on
all
dark.
have the same.
I like
Yeah.
the color.
Like that better? Do you? We'll make Joe Manzi would too, so keep it.
Yeah. So
Those
this
are like
is,
most of the colors of his
Oh,
t-shirts.
great.
that's what we would do.
We have a date for that? Tentative?
It's being
Oh,
made,
Yeah, we
so
don't have a date.
Okay, wait, no.
We get it.
we can have a tentative date. Do we wanna do this at a BOS meeting or where
I think it
would
would
we?
be, yeah,
Yeah.
to find out from Joe when he's available.
Right.
Yeah, I think we can get it anytime. Well, now that they have their power back on, they can
Whip it up,
be
yeah.
doing some things, so.
Yeah, oh, there you go.
I'll see when there might be, we might have it available, and then we can go from there for a date.
Okay, yeah. And we can invite, his coworkers, Parks and Rec, and
Mhm.
the commission
Yeah.
and BOS.
Maybe we should try to pick a date rather than just say,
Yeah, I mean, we could pick a date and see if he can make it. Give him a
Oh,
date,
that's
give him a
right,
time.
Yeah.
Just get it.
We have to make sure that it's made, the sign's
Do we
made
think-
and ready.
doing it at a BOS meeting is a time, or should we do it as a special time and dedicate, be in the room?
Do you think, any
Well,
chance,
whatever.
I think with the kids there?
Yeah, I mean, we could do that and skip the BOS. I mean,
Yeah.
That would be better.
Yeah, I
But-
don't think, We can invite the BOS.
Yeah,
if
we
they
can
wanna
invite them
come.
if they wanna come, right, but not do it at one of their meetings, yeah. And we could do it,
better.
you know,
Like a 5:30 or, what
Yeah.
time the kids usually leave, by 6:30?
They're gone by 6, yeah.
yeah,
6.
6 o'clock close time.
I mean, we could do it like a 6 o'clock, and at the end of the day, and whatever, you know, if kids wanna hang around or parents wanna come back,
Yeah. Throw that out there.
do something like that. And then we can, I'll find out when the sign will be done, or when it can be done, and then we can go from there, but not have to stay to a selectmen's date.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if there's a better day during the week to do it, or just,
Not really.
Every day is hectic with kids.
Yeah.
we should get a hold of Joe and see what
Right,
his
what he gives
schedule is
us.
too.
Yeah.
And,
If he has a day, he can come back here for 5:30,
right,
yeah.
so it'll be, not a surprise, but,
He doesn't know what he's coming for.
well, so I'll try to find out when the sign will be done, and then do you want me to try to get a hold of Joe and see? Or does somebody else wanna do that?
I can do it, or you have to do it.
All right, I'll let you do that, I'll find out about the sign and
Yeah.
see what his schedule is. So that'll be good. Anything else? Anybody?
One thing I wanted to go back to for the trunk or treat was the categories. We had thought about having categories for the different setups for next year,
Okay. For prizes?
for
I mean,
prizes, yeah. So, the discussion was, you know, there were some that had 20 people, 30 people that were all collaborating on one, you know,
Mhm.
theme, and then there was one family that was, you know, that had theirs set up. So maybe different categories, so we have more winners and a little bit more interest, or something of the nature, just to get that out there. But I know we talked about it briefly on Saturday, I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of fell apart on awarding the best one when the rain started and everybody packed up and got going, so.
Yep.
But no, I think that's a good idea, and, you know, maybe we make sure we go through and make that announcement within, you know, by 1:30 if we start at 1, or no later than 2 if we're letting everybody out at 2, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Try to let everybody know, so. I think we've done that in the past, I think we just kind of got waylaid with the weather and
Yeah.
everything else, so.
Mhm.
It'll work, though. All right, I think that's it. Anybody else got anything, or? Good? Somebody can make a motion that we can,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
second. All in favor? Aye. Good.
Perfect.
Push the button.
Time to watch the World Series.
Yes.
All right,
Who are you rooting for?
I'm gonna say,
You can say.
Houston.
Houston. I am.
Yeah.
My husband's not, though.
That makes it fun.
It does. He doesn't even like baseball. This is what,